Welcome to Beyond What You See, the podcast where we take time to hear stories behind the people who make the difference, the purpose, the perseverance, and the process that often goes unseen. Today's guest represents legacy in motion. He's a living testimony of the power of access and education and opportunity. He was part of the first Upper Bound Math Science Regional Center at Marquette. Back then, it was known as Science and Mathematics at Marquette in the summer of 1991. Born and raised in Beloit, Wisconsin, he grew up in a diverse, close-knit community where he shaped the world, what shaped his worldview, from the Boys and Girls Club, and all the experience he had there, to the YMCA. He found his involvement through mentorship and hard work. He went on to attend Wisconsin Oshkosh University. Lee Lakely, I believe, was the director back then, where his experience as a young Black man, and then he went on to Oshkosh and going to a PWI, all of that. And now today he serves as the president of Rock Valley College, continuing the work that he does. Howard, welcome. Dr. Spearman, please, welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me. I look forward to our conversation. It's so good to see you, my man.
Absolutely. So we're going to jump right in. Dr. Spearman, welcome to Beyond What You See. Dr. Spearman, let's start with your early years in Beloit. What was like growing up in that kind of environment? And how did those early experience shape your value?
Well, yes. Growing up in Beloit, I grew up in a single-parent household, low-income family. I had an older brother, a younger sister, and the community organizations around us really shaped our values. Boys and Girls Club, and we used to walk to the other side of Beloit to go to the Boys and Girls Club. The Meals on Wheels, the playground they would have, you could play like the little hockey off the table hockey games and things like that. We used to wake up early in the summer to go play those across the street at McGlennigan Middle School, or McGlennigan Elementary School. The YMCA, like you said, helped to shape our values. I was even in Cub Scouts and Boy Scouts for a while. My mother did her best to put me in as many organizations as possible to keep me busy so I was not at home. And one of those organizations was the Upper Bound program at Beloit College, where I got a chance. I think I was in the first Beloit College Upper Bound program with Lee Lakely, like you said. And then a couple of years later, she recommended me for the SAM program at Marquette, Science and Mathematics at Marquette. And those programs help to plant a seed of higher education and confidence in higher education that impacting me to this day.
Okay, speaking of the SAM program at Marquette, what do you remember most about that summer at Marquette? I believe it was the summer of 1991. The people, the atmosphere, the moments that helped you believe in you. Can go to
You know
college.
what?
Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That summer, it really built up my confidence that I could engage with a group of diverse people. I didn't know them. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, you took about two students from each program around the region and brought them in, right? And I think we had students from Wisconsin, Minnesota, maybe Illinois. I can't remember where they all came from, but I end up meeting some of them I still can reach out to and connect with since that time. But there's a couple of things I remember. I remember you being a mentor, being a part of the Church of God in Christ. I remember you taking me to church. My mom was adamant that I had to go. She wasn't having it any other way. But we went over to, I believe it was Ebenezer at that time, right? I remember that still. Yeah.
Bishop
Well,
Jonathan Southall's church. Absolutely.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. But that was a positive black male that was sowing positive time and seed. I remember um, the gospel choir at Sam, and it was so many of us that were part of and excited to be a part of the gospel choir. And uh, uh, um, Minister Sappho had me do a one person play as a part of the gospel concert, and I remember that. I remember that. I also remember uh, the the different visits in the classrooms, and it was the social engagement and the building of the confidence that we were able to do that I just enjoy, and I was able to take and ride that momentum back to Beloit and to Beloit Memorial High School and continue to build on that. And I knew at that point, I knew I was going to college because you guys built that into me, and it has helped me out so much that pre-college programs is how I started my higher education career. And as a president, I'm I'm blessed to implement pre-college type of programs where I'm at now at Rock Valley College.
Wow, that's so cool. It's full circle, right? So let's go back to the transition to UW Oshkosh. Tell me about that experience. How did you transition? How did you pick Oshkosh? How did you transition there? And just tell me about that experience of being the first gen of from a single-headed household from Beloit College, going transitioning to Oshkosh, and how did that go?
Well, you have to understand that my mother was a single parent and she was earning her GED at the same time that she was earning her CNA or certified nursing aid certificate. And so my brother and I would wake her up in the middle of the night while her head would be planted in the nursing book or the math book with popcorn on one side and coffee on the other side. So a combination of her passion and a combination of the experience what I got in Upper Bound program really just catapulted me into a place where I knew I was going to go into higher education. Upper Bound allowed me to visit private and public colleges and HBCUs. We had a DC trip as well where we visited Howard. And so I remember these. So by the time I got to Oshkosh, I already knew that I was going to college. And a group of students that were from the Black Student Union pulled us to the side and started engaging with us and connecting with us. And we had a group of football players. I played football in Beloit Memorial, and we were visiting with a group of football players. And the Black Student Union group saw us and said, "Hey, you guys are considering Oshkosh, you need to come here." And they started engaging with us. And when I left that campus, I said, by that time I've visited and I've already been accepted to a couple of schools, I believe. And I said, you know what? I'm coming to Oshkosh. This is where I'm coming. Now, my brother was at UW Green Bay, 45 minutes north of Oshkosh. And so I thought this was a great opportunity for me. And I knew when I walked on that campus that that was the campus that I would be at.
Great. How did those college years challenge and grow you personally? Not just academically, but emotionally, culturally, all the way around as a whole.
Well, Miss Robinson, now that's a lot there. That's a lot to uncover there. But I would say um, it was forming me as a young man, right? It was helping to develop me. So I had to take everything I knew and valued, and it will all put to question with the other values and the people that was around me from my classroom to residence life. Uh, I had to identify mentors, professional mentors that could help me get over the hump. Some of them were students that pulled me to the side where sometimes they felt like if I was getting too out there or lost or something, they could pull me to the side and say, "Hey, Don't forget to stay focused on your studies. Don't forget that you're here with a purpose. But I can also do that with my uh, SSS, Student Support Services Advisor, Saroj Thekanath. She would call me into the office and talk to me. Imelda Drake, my multicultural advisor, would call me and remind me to go to class. I had these different seeds that would focus on helping me. And when I dealt with uh, the multicultural issues, the racism, and things of that nature, you know, because of the values I learned in the home, I didn't always respond immediately as a negative. Sometimes I was able to take a step back and process it and go to these different mentors and ask them, well, what's the best way to deal with this situation? Right. And I think it was a combination of all of that, because when you are a Black male at a PWI or a predominantly white institution, culture is different. I would walk in the community and somebody would see me at the local Walgreens or at the local restaurant and say, so where are you from? Or they would ask me, so do you play sports? When I used to go to Green Bay, they automatically assumed that I was a Packer. So these things were happening, and you had to understand that that was the environment you were in, and then you had to address it accordingly.
Later, you worked at college counseling and student services, first at Oshkosh, then in Milwaukee. What drew you to the field of higher education, and what made you stay?
That's a great question. I see you've done your research. So I was doing pre-college programs full time at UW Oshkosh, transition over to a director of multicultural programs or recruitment programs in the admissions office. And I graduated in human services, but I originally started in K 12, and I thought I wanted to be a teacher, and someday maybe I'll become a superintendent. When I was when I was working at UW Oshkosh, I decided to go back to my master's program, and I thought this is a great way to get back into the K 12. So I thought I wanted to be a school counselor. And then what happened was I did my research. It was an assignment, and I had to go and interview uh, school counselors in the different school systems. And I only needed to interview 10, but I interviewed a lot more than 10 because I was in the admissions program. So I had a great relationship with them. So I interviewed urban, rural, and a diverse group of school counselors, and found out that in Wisconsin at that time, the school counselors really enjoyed what they were doing, but they didn't see a career trajectory. Because in order to be in administration, things of that nature, at that time, they had to work at least in the classroom to catapult into the administration, as many of them didn't want to do that. And I said, well, that's not going to work for me. I'm going to change my degree plan, my master's degree focus from K-12 to student affairs and college counseling. And that's how I changed it. And I said, you know what? Now that I changed it, well, someday I'll become a college president. And I
Mm.
was probably about 24, 25, I guess, maybe 24, 25 when I made that decision. And that was all a part of my graduate program work.
Wow, that's cool. So you did your research, you realized you pivoted, and it's in life it's so important to be able to pivot. It's also so important to do that preparation, do that interview, to go above and beyond just what you did, not just two or three that was the assignment, but going in and really figuring out, oh, is this for me or not for me? So but then a 24-year-old kid that's still trying to find their place began to speak out. Not only am I going to go to the higher education, the higher ed, the men route, but I'm also gonna become a college president. And look at you down. That's pretty good.
Absolutely.
So you went on a Cardinal Stretch and you earned your doctorate in Cardinal Stretch while serving in higher education. Today, you serve as the Rock Valley College, after years of leadership and service there. What does that position means to you personally, and especially knowing where your journey began?
Ms. Robert, I don't even know if I can describe what this position truly means to me. Um, Again, I was black male, growing up in a single parent family, low income housing. And for everyone who planted a seed in my life, there were probably two people that probably told me that I couldn't do it and that I shouldn't be able to do it. You look at the statistics, black families, black males in Wisconsin, and I should not be able to do it based on the stats alone. And I can't tell you how honored I am and how I carry the mantle for so many people who have planted that seed in my life to get me to this point. But what's so great about it is when I get to encourage other students who have struggled, other students who are at the community college level, and they get to see this, experience this success, and then they get to go home with that excitement, and their household get to feel that success and witness the success in that individual, a member of their family or a member of their household. Man, that ripple effect is endless. And I'm impacting generations to come by just inspiring others to do college, to earn their degrees, earn their certificates, and be a positive member of their community. And that I can never take for granted. It's an honor to be in this role. It's a blessing to be in this role. And and some days I just get opportunity to actually pause and reflect on it. And I just begin to thank the good Lord for allowing me this opportunity to serve in this capacity.
So just on this note right now, I just want to pause and just say how proud we are to see the transition from 1981 Howard, to see him evolve, and not only now stand as a role model of what could be. When some people told you you couldn't be, you rose with resilience and perseverance and faith that guided you in yourself and your possibility. You began to speak things out, and now you begin to walk them out. So, on behalf of everybody to get a chance to see or hear you, that's why I was so glad when I finally got you on the schedule, on the books to come and be our guest, because I think you represent the power of possibility. You represent legacy. You represent in so many different angles you could take the prayers of a mother that and belief in making sure her son and putting him in all kind of positions, even though she wasn't in the best positions herself. As she was continuing to strive and to do better, she instilled that in y'all. Then she made sure that she connected y'all to programs and kept y'all busy and kept y'all at the YMCA, the Boys and Girls Club, the UW, Beloit College, Upper Bound, the Upper Bound Math Science, SAM program at Marquette, and all the other things that she proudly did, instilling that. To see you rise, to go to Oshkosh, to go to a PWI, to have the experience of that, but then having some supportive people even there, the student support service there to help walk you through and guide you through from after going from pre-college to college, to enter college. And a lot of students go to college, but the purpose is to go to, not just go to, but go through college. And they help to stay by your side. Then you actually figuring it out. So, man, to me, that's legacy. That's going beyond the title. But I would want to just pause here. What advice would you give to a young professional, especially those from underrepresented backgrounds who are trying to find their voice and purpose in leadership?
Wow. Well, I have served as a mentor, and I will say as as a coach, like life coach, I consider myself many times over. At each level of my journey, I try to encourage others to get there as well.
Mm.
And the key here is starting the journey. You know, if I'm trying to get to the other side of town, I could take the main road, I can take the side road, I can take the quick route, I can take the scenic route. Once you start that journey, you will learn that there's multiple avenues for you to get to your end goal. Stay the course. Stay the course. Have a plan for yourself, because if you don't have a plan for yourself, you'll always be a part of somebody else's plan. So know where you want to go. And when you start that journey, identify positive mentors and role models that can help you get over the hump. You're not doing it alone. You're not doing it alone. And so that's the piece that they have to remember. They're not out there alone. Identify positive role models that can help you get to the next step in your journey. And then from there, remember to just keep it moving.
Great. Thank you. When you reflect on your story, what role has faith, family, and mentorship played in your development as a leader and as a man?
Oh, well, uh, I've talked a lot about the mentorship piece first, and I just, in each of those programs, there were male role models from Boys and Girls Club, YMCA, Upper Bound, um, that helped me throughout the process, that pulled me aside. Like I said, you and Sam, different people. I remember Mr. Cummings at Beloit Memorial, who helped pull me aside. So the mentoring was a great aspect. Now, my spiritual journey, my mother was a missionary within her church, and she used to make us attend church. You know how they say you had to go religiously? Well, I know what that means. We went Tuesday night, Friday night, two or three times on Sunday, right? And so she supported us that way, and she always prayed over us. Sometimes we would wake up in the middle of the morning, 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning, with mom praying over us. But fast forward, at some point, you have to know you have a personal relationship with the Lord.
Mm.
And I had my own as an adult, I found my personal relationship with the Lord. My dissertation was, I explored the role of spirituality in academic advising.
Mm.
So there's an intersectionality between advisors and their worldview and their spiritual belief, and how that impacts their advising and coaching and leadership with students. Not everybody was religious, but some believed in meditating and the spirituality behind it. Some believed in uh, they had did their pressure points and stuff like that to calm them down. But they used that, or it informed them on how they engaged students or how they looked at their job, so they were less likely to still take away a positive experience to maintain that job. So that spirituality has helped me. And I don't apply for a position that I don't pray about. Uh, so, uh, and we don't have enough time for me to tell you how I truly believe the Lord brought me to Rock Valley College, opened up doors to Rock Valley College. But what I will say is, when I made the decision to come here, and we, my wife and I prayed over it, I started as a manager of academic and transfer advising. And she quit her job. So we were down to one job when we relocated to Rockford, Illinois from
Mm.
Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And each year I earned a new position, a new title, or and most of the time an increase on top of that that led right up to me being the vice president of student affairs. I left for a year and a half to be the vice president of student affairs of Madison College in Madison, Wisconsin, from 2019 through 2020. And then I came back to Rock Valley College to be the president here at September 1st of 2020. And the Lord guided me my pathway the entire time. And sometimes I don't know even how much until I'm able to pause and reflect on what he's done in my life and how he's provided these opportunities for me.
That's great. It's a saying that says we need to have more confidence in God's ability to lead us than in our ability to follow him. When we get to the end of our course, it's not going to be because we're such a good follower, but because he's such a great leader. And you know what? And that's the story. To see his hand and see the breadcrumbs, him leading you at every step of the time. So you come full circle from the pre-college programs, including Marquette SAM program, to college president. How do you honor legacies of program like Trio and Upper Bound Math Science and Upper Bound and your work you do today?
I honor it by I honor it in so many different ways. I take the same concepts of Trio, Upper Bound, wraparound services, and I embed it in my daily operations on campus. I encourage our new employees to talk to at least one student a day and just say hello. And if you pause and ask them, how are you doing? Then stop and listen to how they are doing. We have trio programs on campus. We have Upper Bound. We have Upper Bound. We have student support services, two student support services programs, and we lost those programs years ago. And then I helped to rewrite the grant to get those programs back on campus. So I honor them in what I do every day. I've been asked to be the keynote for the February. We're going to host the TRIO program on our campus in February. I've been asked to do the keynote for the students. So I think about TRIO, I think about it up about on a regular basis, and I honor them in every day that I'm being successful or in this role. I honor them, and if I can do it, they can do it.
Wow, that's so cool. That's so cool. There's something important. I don't know if you remember or not. It was the summer of 1991. We were staying in McCormick Hall, I believe, on 16th in Wisconsin, right? That summer. I know you talked about a lot of things that happened in that summer, but maybe some things you don't realize. That very summer, Dr. Spearman was attending the Science and Mathematics program at Marquette, the Upper Bound Math Science Regional Center. That's the government name. A program designed to elevate, empower, and expand opportunity for students in Milwaukee and the region, right? Was really from that summer, and it was right there in the middle of the summer program, the story about Jeffrey Dahmer broke. That's when Jeffrey Dahmer, that summer, you know, Milwaukee, the shocking discovery of Jeffrey Dahmer, his murder. And we were on McCormick Hall on 60th in Wisconsin, and a lot of that happened around 23rd and Kilbourne, about less than a mile away, probably about 8 or 9 blocks away from the dorm. Um, he was staying less than a mile away from where the tragedy occurred. Two worlds existed, side by side, one of violence and fear and unthinkable loss, and another of education and access and hope. The fact that a young man from Beloit stood in the tension between what was broken in the world and what was possible for his future tells something about the journey he's taken. I'm not sure if you realize that It was that close, and it was that close, and it was in the middle of a summer program. So I had students from a 6-state region. Back then, we served Illinois, Wisconsin, Ohio, Minnesota, and all of that in that region we served. And the story about Jeffrey Dahmer broke. Students and parents had entrusted their children. We were on the campus of Marquette University. That summer, we told them don't bring a TV and a radio, and I'm thank God because we kept them busy, so they didn't probably really even truly understand. This is before cell phones and before the internet just going crazy. Did you realize that, sir?
No, I don't. I'm trying to remember if some of the Milwaukee students used to scream stuff like, you know, youth say Dahmer or Dahmer or something. But I, just to play. But me personally, I did not know at all that that was the situation. But I can also say that you guys had such a tight grip on us. I mean, you know where we're at. The only time that we really had any so-called free time or responsibilities, I remember us trying to eat real fast so we can go over to the open gym during the lunch hour and just do that. Other than that time, man, you guys knew. I remember one of the counselors, was it Lisa? Lisa, I can't think of her last name, but it was like four. But they were on us, and we could not mess around. Matter of fact, I still have my group photo at home regarding that summer. And I think it's the only one that I still have of all of my upper bound experiences and things of that nature. But no, I do not remember. I think you guys just covered us well and protected us well. And so, no, I don't remember speaking about Dahmer at all.
Yep, absolutely. It reminds us that purpose often grows in very places where darkness tries to dominate. And it shows how critical programs like SAM and or Upper Bound Math Science and Upper Bound and other college access programs and TRIO truly are. They create pathways for possibilities, even when the world around the young people are unstable, unpredictable, unsafe. So Dr. Spearman, your journey is a powerful reminder that legacy isn't built overnight. It's built over time through faith and consistency and courage from Beloit to Marquette to college, to Rock Valley College. Your story represents what's possible with opportunity meets preparation. And when programs like College Access, these programs help to plant seeds that keep bearing fruit decades later. So, thanks again for your consistency, for your example, for you building a legacy, and also spending time investing in other people, right? Playing it forward. So, thank you so much, sir. Any last comments you would like to say?
I'm just, uh, thank you. Thank you for acknowledging the work, but it's a humbling space to be in. And I never take for granted the role or the responsibility. And I didn't get here alone, as you know. But on top of that is we always got to help others um, get here as well. And that's the power of TRIO programs. It helps so many students become successful or believe in themselves. And that's how we break some of these generational uh, uh, vices that hinder us from being successful. So thank you for what you do. Thank you for the knowledge. I'm humbled by it, and I appreciate you for the work you've done and for the mentoring and the positive seeds that you've sown into my life. I appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
No, no problem. Even as a young teenager in 1991 to the day, the president of Rock Valley College, I've seen you. You might have a little bit more gray and may have a little bit more weight than you had then, but the same purpose, the same something special that about you as a young kid, the raising, the rearing, and something was on you then. and to see you today walking into your purpose and walking into your God-given destiny is powerful. It's a powerful stories for other people to see as you trail the blaze. So, thank you for leading with vision, with humility, and with hope, and for showing us all what it means to live and lead beyond what you see. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.